this life. We laugh, we cry. Sometimes we give up, sometimes we touch the sky. There's hope, there's fear, sweet dreams and nightmares. But there is one reason we're all here.
Welcome to the celebration of the life and music of my best friend Jimmy Muffin Yessian. We're going to have a song up front, and then there'll be some speakers, and then some music.
This is a song by Jimmy Yessian that he wrote it about, I think about 7 or 8 years ago maybe, and he wrote it about his childhood. But it's really about community. The sky broke, the rain poured, the kids on the block ran to my covered porch. Huddled together, we swore forever best friends. I remember way back when we bought bells for our bikes, strings for our kites, allowance a big 50 cents. We flipped baseball cards and we camped in backyards. Blanket made such a good tent. I remember way back when. Snow days and sleigh rides, blue lips near frostbite. But when I heard that calling, I knew I'd better get in. Yeah, I remember way back when. Church bells would ring and carolers would sing, neighborhood voices would blend. And then off they would go in the drifts of white snow. Hear Silent Night over again. Yeah, I remember way back when. And I grew up in a time when the world was starting to open its mind. I'd give anything to go back there again, when the Beatles were on Ed Sullivan. First kiss, a near miss, the chapstick she wore stayed on my lips. And we were together all week, but on the weekend there was stickball and dodgeball and bad calls, street brawls, a black eye from your best friend. Red Rover, let Muffin come over. Had no time for full-time girlfriends. It was grandma's on Sunday, finish homework for Monday. Bonanza, then in bed by 10. Oh, and walking to school with my friends was so cool. I never thought those days would end. I remember way back. Let me take you way back. Right now I'm going way back. Way back when. The sky broke and the rain poured. The kids on the block ran to my covered porch. Love you, Jimmy.
When he sings that line, Red Rover, when Jimmy sang it, he said, let Jimmy come over. And Marty changed it to Muffin for his cut of the song. Every time I hear him sing that line. We're now going to hear from Elaine Joyce, Jimmy's sister.
Hi. Well, that song kind of said it all, but I'm Elaine Yessian Shore. I'm Jimmy's sister. I know some of you. So let's see if I can do this. So it's been said that a person's not really gone until everybody who remembers him is gone. And if that's true, then my brother Jimmy will be with us for a very long time. Stop it. I guess I knew him longer than anyone. When we were kids, we fought a lot, and it wasn't until we were adults that we began to treasure our relationship. But when we reminisced about our childhood, we both realized that we had been very lucky indeed. We lived, for the most part, an idyllic childhood. You guys have heard us talk about this, some of you. We were in the Bronx in the 50s and 60s. Rock and roll, the Beatles. Our block consisted of a bunch of Italian Catholics. We all moved in at the same time. We all grew up together, and the kids, grew up and moved away, except for my father, who stayed there forever. So Joey, Vinny, Bobby, Frankie, you get the idea? Our moms stayed at home, our dads went off to work. We walked to school, we played those street games, Red Rover and all those other ones, we did. We stayed out late on warm summer nights until our moms called us in for bed. In our family, we recognized that Jimmy was our resident poet, musician, and court jester. He would sometimes get himself into some minor troubles at school as court jester. Nothing serious, but every once in a while, our mom, Lucy, would have to come to his defense. And believe me, you didn't want to mess with my mom. One time, he was sent home from elementary school because he didn't have a tie on for assembly and he needed a tie. Mom wasn't home, she had walked to the grocery store. Jimmy had to wait on the porch in the cold because he didn't have a key until she returned. She saw him standing there and immediately took off for the school and read them the riot act and probably gave him a new one. How dare they send him home without calling her? She was basically a very shy, quiet person socially, but she became a tiger if anyone messed with us, and we knew it. And we knew that her love was the thing that made us the people that we ultimately became. Our family holidays were filled with music. After dinner, Jimmy would bring out his guitar and play his songs. We all knew the lyrics, we sang along. He would bring us from laughter to tears and back to laughter again in like a minute. His songs, which are really, as you know, poems set to music, were that moving. He could do that. He had a way with words that few people have. And it was obvious from the very early days that he could create very special songs. We teased Jimmy that he had a feminine side that was better than that of many women. And by this, we meant that he exhibited those qualities like empathy, caring, love, music, cooking, that we typically associate with women. And this is in a good way, right? It made him such a complete person. Maybe that's why he had so many friends. Everyone wanted to be his friend. When he moved across the country to Los Angeles, several friends from the Bronx followed him. And I believe that he was so happy these past years. He met Leslie, who gave his life a second chapter that he didn't expect. He started the Tall Men group. So I'm just going to get through this. And he and the guys wrote some great music, and he loved doing this. He loved writing and performing, and he loved cooking for the group. It felt as though he had finally put it all together and was living his best life. And as my brother, he was the only person who lived the same story that I did, who inhabited this planet at the same time that I am, sharing the same events, living in the same world. No one but a sibling shares that same life with you. And I'll miss him every day. Now, thank you for coming today to celebrate his life.
Sally Adams, who was Jimmy's niece, Elaine's daughter.
Sorry. Okay, this is what I wrote. My Uncle Jimmy was such a special person, and he was so good at letting us all know how special we were to him. To me, he was magical, one of my heroes. He was such a great man, compassionate and creative person. As I was growing up, I spent many holidays and vacations visiting the coolest part of my family. And he taught me so much. He taught me the importance of passion for all the things. Friendship, love, music, food, especially food. And holidays with him were amazing, and I try really hard to create similar times with my family now. The non-stop laughter and the full bellies and the good wine. And I'm so thankful that he showed me the importance of those things. And he was really special to my kids too. And I was going to share with you that I remember he was really shocked, I don't want to say upset with me, but I hadn't taught the kids the names of all the Beatles. And I said, you know, they know who Bob Marley and the Wailers are, Peter and Bunny, and so for a long time we would call to say hi, and he would say, okay, so tell me, you know, Peter, Ringo, you know, and then eventually they got it. He didn't, but he was so good about remembering, you know, and so good about instilling what was important to us and letting us know. But what I will really miss about him are his stories. Just like my grandma, Jimmy was an amazing storyteller, and he remembered it all and with such great detail. And when my grandma passed away when I was really little, Jimmy was the story keeper. And I really felt like I knew what it was like to grow up in the Bronx with them. Like I was right there. When I was a teenager, I spent so much time in North Hollywood, and he really taught me how to be present and how to see what was going on around me and how beautiful it all was. And that's what I am going to remember and honor. How to see the joy in everything and everyone, and to soak it in, and to let my friends and my family know how special they are to me.
Is there anybody who has a story or a memory that they'd like to share about Jimmy? A humorous one? If not, I'm going to go ahead and speak. Anybody? All right. By the way, your remarks were beautiful, both of you guys. You know, I spent a lot of time in a car driving down the road with Jimmy. So I heard a lot of those stories, and they were good. They were good. And he had stories about you too, Michael. I heard a lot of Michael Cafino stories. None of them are true. I was very lucky to share such a great friendship with Jimmy. I think about him every day, but I'm finding more and more that instead of thinking about him sadly, I'm kind of remembering happier things now. I hope that happens for everybody here. In a scene near the end of the 1939 film, The Wizard of Oz, the wizard warmly tells the Tin Man, "Remember, my sentimental friend, a heart is judged not by how much you love, but rather by how much you are loved by others." Few people I've known in this life are held in such universal high regard as Jimmy Muffin Yessian, it could easily be said that he was all heart. Amelia Spicer first introduced me to Jimmy at Highland Grounds in 1992. It was the Western Beat days, Billy Block's Western Beat. It was a very magical time. I had been away from music, still had a studio at home, but really wasn't going out and performing at all, just writing my songs. And when the first time I went out there, my head was spinning, and the first time I went out there was a night that Jimmy played. And I became an immediate fan. I bought one of his CDs. I took it home, and even though I'm an original artist, I learned a couple of his songs. And then last minute one night I went to Kulak's Woodshed, and I figured since I had been rehearsing those songs, I'd just play them. I'm crediting Jimmy, of course. And Jimmy and I had already met, but we weren't really friends. And Jack Temshin was in the audience at the open mic that night, and he called Jimmy a couple of days later and said, "Hey, some guy's out here performing your songs. Jeff something or other." And then I think I was with him again at Highland Grounds, and somebody said, "This is Jeff Kozak," and he was like, "Are you the guy?" We became friends quick. And everywhere he went, we had great adventures, and everywhere we went, he introduced me to everybody he knows. And I probably know each and every one of you for having been introduced to the 6 degrees of separation, 6 degrees of Jimmy. He was a facilitator. He loved and craved connection in his fellow travelers. And we all felt equally connected to him through his brilliant songs. That's the mission of every songwriter, and he certainly was on target and accomplished his mission. We have all been witnesses to and passengers on his magnificent and passionate journey of songs. And his music remains some of the most honest and expressive that I've ever heard, still, after 67 years of music. But he was more than his music. He loved cooking, he loved wine, both expensive and El Cheapo. And he took great pride in watching others enjoy his cooking. Not strangely, his cuisine was just as good as his music. Jimmy's Ciappino, that became a tradition at the final dinner of every Tall Man year. And I eat out occasionally, and I try to find Ciappino that's better than his, and I haven't yet. Along the way, he mentored just tons of songwriters and very generously served the music community through events like Durango Songwriters Expo. And he had an ear for talent and very keen vision. As Marty points out in his song, Crazy Idea, 5 guitars and a piano? But there we were. And there was Jimmy doing what came naturally to him. He rounded us all up, fed us, and launched us on a creative directory that continues on, though sadly without him. These men, Ed, Marty, Severin, and John, they are my innermost circle, and they held my hand so that I could hold Jimmy's. So I thank you guys, and I love you. And all of this happened because of Jimmy. And not strangely, we all got better at everything we did where he was concerned. Music making is just about as much about the chemistry in the room as the music, and our time in the studio was pure alchemy. There were a few times in studio when he was singing a song about his dad or about growing up, and he'd be on the mic, I'd be coaching him through a music, recording a performance for him. And I could hear in his voice that full of emotion, on the verge of tears. And I'd wave to him and say, "Stop," and come in, and we would meet in the control room and hug it out for a little while. We would both be crying. Jimmy was a devoted friend and husband. He loved with everything that was in him, everything. Thank you, Leslie, for loving him and making sure he was comfortable both in sickness and in health. And J.P. Pittman, Leslie's longtime friend. You made repeated long drives from Northern California to here to be of service to both of them. in their time of need. You are a friend's friend. Thank you. I have so many stories. I could talk forever about Jimmy. I could. I have so many stories about him. I'm paraphrasing right now, but Jimmy always used to say, if you ain't got no stories, you haven't lived. And all of us have stories of Jimmy. You know, he's made all of our lives so much better. We will always remember you, Jimmy, your generosity and your kindness, your friendship, all the music, and of course, that winning smile. We thank you and love you, brother. And wherever the road is taken to, I know you are carrying all the love that we send with you. This is a celebration of Jimmy's music. I'd like to bring up Severin Brown. I can't believe nobody had a story. Somebody.
I have a story.
Steve, he told me the time you shoplifted with him. Who had a story? Somebody did. Oh, come up. Can I tell that story? Okay. I know the story. I love telling the story very quickly while Severin's getting ready. Jimmy and Leslie came to our house to cook, or to stay. And the drinks flowed. And it was time for dinner, and Pamela has a barbed wire fence around the kitchen and a dish towel that says, get out of my kitchen. But Jimmy said, no, you know what, I really want to make something. And so he said, I brought some stuff and I'm going to make goat cheese stuffed dates with honey. Okay, so, and she said yes, because she was very fond of Jimmy, and she let him into the kitchen. I was like, are you kidding? So anyway, we're all so drunk, and by the time we sit down to dinner and everything, it's a great evening. We wake up the next morning. Jimmy and Leslie go on their way back to LA from Palm Springs, and Pamela walks into the kitchen, and she's looking at the cabinets in her kitchen, and they're covered with goat cheese, honey. And she was like, literally. But you were such a great sport about it, because I know you love Jimmy so much. Are you ready, brother? All right. Severin Brown.
Sorry.
So, I am like many people here, I'm sure that Jimmy really changed my life. I've considered myself a songwriter for years and years and years and years. But when Jimmy called me in December of 2011, asking me if I wanted to come over once a month and talk about music, I thought, wow, cool. I just had no idea what I was getting into. That month I had released a solo CD of my own, but I quickly forgot about it. Because the Tall Men turned into something so big. We decided that first month that we were each going to write a song to a common prompt, and we'd decide what that was. And of course, Jimmy had loads of ideas for those prompts. Anyway. We got guitar here, Ed? Okay. Anyway, this is a song of Jimmy's called Searching for Direction. You've been searching for direction all your life. You come knocking at my door late at night. Every broken road I helped you carry your load. I had to pick you up so many times. but so was I. And there were days you thought it all would end. I sat with you till dawn, again and again and again and again, crying you were lost. You felt deceived and double-crossed. You're the dark horse was your favorite line. When you were searching for direction, you never looked in mine. Watching you make your mistakes, how my heart would break as you pushed me away. Just a little give and take was all I was looking for, but you'll never change, and I can save you no more. So if you're searching for direction late at night, and you call that special someone for advice, the one who's always there for you, the one who always pulls you through, they might be suffering too, so hold them tight. We're all searching for direction in our life. In our life. Thank you so much. And thank you, Jimmy. Because Jimmy inspired so much.
Thank you, Severin. Are Tim and Kate present? So Tim and Kate, Tim Burlingame and Catherine Shore, have they make just such beautiful music, and they contributed to the tribute record that we did earlier this year. And they're here to play their song called Baby Sleep, which is a lullaby, I think. Jimmy's. Sweet Talk Radio.
I have a little story to share. It's not really a story, but it's an anecdote. That counts, right? So we've got our little guy with us who's not little anymore, named Ben. And when Ben was tiny, he had reflux, poor guy. And it was during this momentous time that Jimmy came to visit and see.
Jimmy and Leslie came.
Yeah, came to see Ben. That's right. And anyway, poor guy. I was like, just make sure you keep him upright, because if he goes south, like the whole experience is going to go south too with it. So just keep him upright, and he did. And best advice, but still, Ben just couldn't keep it in. Poor Jimmy. Just came out. And I just remember the look on his face. He was like, "On me? I'm the nicest guy on the planet." But there it was. Couldn't be helped. Anyway, I was grateful that he allowed us to come and say goodbye to him, and I just feel so grateful for knowing somebody like Jimmy who just exuded love and positivity wherever he went. I mean, we met him 20 years ago, and you know, I was 5, and to have somebody like that just always supported you every time, and I'm sure we're not the only ones, but every time we released a record, he would buy 10. Who does that? Jimmy does that. And such a big heart, all heart. You're right, Jeff, all heart. So this is one of his songs called Baby Sleep.
A couple of other things I need to add. there are some CDs, the record that I produced for Jimmy earlier this year, and feel free to take a copy. But we're on the honor system. If you take a copy, I would like for you to send 15 or 20 bucks to pancan.com. That's the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. I need to thank Kent Gray, who's in Nashville, but big surprise, this arrived like about a week ago at my house, this portrait of Jimmy. And it's beautiful. It was when he went to Nashville, I think pre-COVID, and did a video shoot before a live audience. And John Stowers, who just helped me so much during this week. And to Barbara Tonys, who took a huge bit off my plate when she said, Jeff, I'd like to do all the snacks and food and everything. So thank you, Barbara. Anybody else? Okay. If Ed's ready. So, you know, Jimmy had like passions. He would write about causes, and that's kind of something I have never been able to do, is to write to I can write to a prompt, but not necessarily a political cause. And when he did, he just did it so well. Ed's here to sing one of those songs. This is Ed Tree, everybody.
Everybody. So like a lot of people, I met Jimmy at Western Beat, Billy Block's Western Beat, and about 30 years ago. And how many people met Jimmy and you immediately had a friend? Like, right away. And he was just that guy. And there's so much about Jimmy that I will echo exactly what other people have said. He was talented, creative, generous, loving, sensitive, soulful, and really, really cool. And not just in his music and his personality, but in his dress. You know, I don't think he had a sleeve, did he, on anything? You know, and 20 years ago I was doing some recording with Jimmy and in my home studio, and I had a little 5-year-old daughter at that time, Emily, and she was just taken with Jimmy. You know, he was just like the coolest guy on the planet. And so Jimmy'd been over several times, and it was time to, you know, like the next morning, we're getting ready for to go to kindergarten, and she says, "Dad, I want a bandana." So I'm thinking, you know, she's gonna wear a little bandana like Dad would wear, and she goes, "Not like that, like Muffin." And it's just like, he was just the coolest. So she would show up at kindergarten, and all the girls would be, you know, dressed girly, and there she would be with, you know, the do-rag, like, yeah, Muffin's my friend. Just like Severin said, Jimmy changed my life. We were great friends for a long, long time, and then, you know, when I got that wonderful call to come over, we'll have dinner, I was like, sure, I'll come over for dinner anytime if you're cooking. And then he launched the idea about doing the Tall Men. But one thing I would like to say to Leslie is that Jimmy always said to us that he had this idea and talked to you about it. And he was saying, no, they probably won't want to do that. And it was Leslie who said, "Get out of your own way, Jimmy. Come on, do it and make the call." So thank you. Because you're a lot of the reason that happened. Let me turn this down a little bit, I'm going to whack on it. I had a gun once. That gun had no bullets. The trigger I would pull it, but it didn't hurt no one. Not crazy Aunt Sadie, not for my 7th birthday, but with it for a few days. then I was done. Made it seem like you were tough. If you could fan that hammer and shoot down everyone like those cowboys on TV. I had a gun once. Once was enough for me. In grade school, Hank brought in a handgun, passed it around some till they rang the morning bell. Miss Delarita, a pretty fifth grade teacher, called her mom but couldn't reach her, so he did show and tell. Can't you see, there's a problem in this country, too many guns, killing far too many. We need gun laws to make it safe for you and me. In my hometown, I had a neighbor. Ask him any favor, he'd always help you out. He had rifles and handguns. He showed me them one Sunday. He went to work on Monday and he killed everyone. Can't you see? People having breakdowns in their homes, in the schools and even playgrounds. We need gun laws to make it safe for you and me. Now our founding fathers loaded muskets with black powder, dropped the ball into the barrel of their finely tuned machine. Now everybody's got a right to defend their loved ones, so maybe get a handgun, not a damn AR-15.
Yeah. Yes.
Can't you see, there's a problem in this country, too many guns, killing far too many. We need gun laws to make it safe for you and me. I had a gun once. That gun had no bullets. The trigger I would pull it, but it didn't hurt no one. Love you, brother.
Jeff,
for making this wonderful CD. I listened to the entire CD, both sides of it, this morning, and wonderful.
Jimmy, just, I'd fill the Hollywood Bowl for him if you just left me a guest list. All right, well, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to bring up Warren and then Grace, and then after Grace, John, okay? I just want to give you a chance to prepare. All right, so, let's see. I met Warren through Jimmy at Durango Song, of course, you know. And I think I actually knew him before that, but I'm sure I met him through Jimmy. And always been a fan of Warren's music. And when I was curating the record, I know that Warren has a real love for a place called Pache in Laurel Canyon. And whenever he goes there, he always posts about it on Facebook, so I know he's there. And they've gone through a few iterations, but it's always been a pretty great restaurant. And so Jimmy had a song called Me and Donovan. And I couldn't think of anybody more appropriate to do it than Warren.
Jeff's a tall man. I am a short man. So the strap, we'll see about this in a second. I might be playing with my toes. I hope you dig that. I'm going to quickly say that I didn't know who Jimmy Yessian was for years. I knew Muffin. I had no idea his last name for years. I also didn't think the man owned a pair of long pants.
bicycle shorts, right?
Bicycle shorts, forever. He and I have the same barber, and but I could never get away with the bandana like him. He was just cooler with it, so I just you know, well, now that my hair is starting to recede, I'm, you know, beginning to think about those things. Okay, so this, talk to my daughter. Yes, I'll take tape. Okay. We've never played this together, but he did play. I played this on the record. He and Jeff, and Ed. I'm putting that in now. Sorry, I should have said something. We okay? I'm a professional. I'm a student of all things 60s and 70s and everything else musically, but Jimmy was at Woodstock. And the story's amazing. I was a little younger, so that wouldn't happen, but I am a student of these things, you know. And he loved Donovan. He wrote this. When I was growing up, it was a time of peace and love. The cool kids were getting high, flying on a magic carpet ride. But I was afraid to fly. My buddies formed a band and had the girls in their hands. I stood on the outside, all alone on those cold nights. But I had a dream inside, deep inside. I wanted to be like Donovan, play guitar and sing like him, seem like a loner just like me, in need of a friend. Me and Donovan. Well, I was sleeping in my car with my dog and my guitar, and I would play on Bleecker Street to lonely souls just like me, for a little change and a bite to eat. I wanted to be like Donovan, play guitar and sing like him, seem like a loner just like me, in need of a friend. Me and Donovan. And now that I've grown up, oh, when times got tough, I took a ride on those melodies to catch the wind above the trees, to anywhere I wanna be. I wanna be, if you'll allow me, 'cause when Jimmy heard I'm pulling this out now. And,
Lauren Sellers, everybody.
Hi. Okay, so, well, I have two very short stories. First of all, the first time I was ever on stage was because of Muffin. I had never been on a stage before. And he, at 8 years old, invited me to sing a duet with him. And I was just a little knee-high to a duck little baby. And he kind of forced me on stage. By the way, my mom is making me tell this story. My mom, Barbara, you know, anyway. But Muffin is an immense, powerful person who will always be a powerful force in all of our lives, and it's beautiful that he's brought us all here together. One more story very briefly, again. He used to give us gifts on Christmas, and they were always kind of like kitschy little gifts, you know. And one year, he came over for Christmas. We usually go over to his house, and he brought this gift for my brother, you know. And my brother opened it up, and it was this like tie-dyed Jimi Hendrix t-shirt from a tour, like a proper show that he had gone to. It was real merch. And my brother opened it up, and Muffin was like, you know, I don't think I'll ever have kids, and I figure if, you know, you're as close as I'll get to a son, so here you go. And it was kind of this casual thing. And then I stole the shirt from my brother, and it became my shirt, and now I forced it onto my boyfriend who's wearing it right now. So that's the shirt, that's the Jimi Hendrix shirt. Anyhow, this is a song that Muffin and I wrote together for my father.
By the way, everybody, this is Shane Grace
Oh, hi.
Allen.
Hey, it's me. Been a while and I sure miss your company. You're part of who I am and who I'll always be. Grateful for the love you gave to me. Had to laugh today. Thought about that stick guitar you never played. Hate to say the Giants didn't go all the way, but still I hear you screaming every Sunday and Monday night. If you think I'm missing you, you're right. Yesterdays, they are replaced. Nothing we can do, but memories live forever, and in mine so will you. And where the ocean meets the earth, our footprints wash away, but all the sand that touched our skin in my life will remain. You had my back, never had to say a word, we both knew that. I didn't choose to love you, but I'm glad I had the chance. And watching you live life was like a dance. Yeah. piece of you. And where the ocean meets the earth, the footprints wash away, but all the sand that touched our skin in my life will remain. Before I go, though I never said goodbye, I know you know how I felt about you since so long ago. And when I look at photographs, I'll hear that crazy Jimmy laugh, and they'll brighten up my life. If you think I'm missing you, I know you wouldn't want me to. If you think I'm missing you tonight, oh, if you think I'm missing you, you're right. Also, round of applause for Jeff, obviously, and beautiful Leslie, and this has just been so beautiful. Everyone sounds right.
Shane Grace Allen, everybody.
So last night, I counted all the mic stands and the mics and the speakers, and I loaded up the Subaru, and went to the studio, and I sat in front of the computer. I wanted to write down a few thoughts about Jimmy. And I sat there, and nothing came. And everything you've heard today about him is true and more. And about an hour passed, and I realized that I just didn't want to say goodbye. And I'm not going to say goodbye to Jimmy. I'm going to keep him here forever. I mean, all those dinners once a month, great memories. I'll cherish them forever. Almost 10 years of them, and that wasn't enough. COVID, damn it, took a year away from us. But I'll just quickly set the stage. We'd all get the car and come over, and we'd walk into Jimmy and Leslie's home, and the dining table would be set. And I mean, really nicely set, you know, nice dishes and the napkins and the little napkin rings, and like you were coming home from college for Thanksgiving. And there were 2 or 3 bottles of wine already opened because Jimmy liked to taste test them while he was cooking, and hors d'oeuvres set up on the bar. Magical nights, and I always remember them. And I feel honored to call Jimmy a friend, and so lucky to be in a band with him. So. Go ahead. Oh, Marty's mic.
I was asleep, fell much too deep. I could not tell if the dream was real. Paralyzed, you brought blue skies, teaching me to feel. And you love my heart away. You lit a spark the sun. You love my heart awake. Let's live our lives as one. A twist of fate, almost too late. Drenched in darkness till you arrive. Your beam of light, it broke the night. As I was more dead than alive. You love my heart away. You lit a spark bright as the sun. You love my heart away. Let's live our lives as one. And there was hope, and there was pain. Bleeding truth, bearing shame. And with our backs against the wall, broken dreams we learned to crawl. And you love my heart away. You lit a spark bright as the sun. You love my heart away. Let's live our lives as one. And you loved our heart away. And you loved my heart away.
John Stowers, everybody. Wow. That felt good. In a good way. I'm going to invite up Donna Lynn Caskey to sing a song that was the title track off of Jimmy's album, Not a Wave Goes By. I also met Donna through Jimmy at Durango Song. Palm Loft, I mean. The memory's the second thing to go. The vision is the third thing to go.
It might have been first in my case, but that's all
All
right.
right, everybody, Donna Lynn Caskey.
All right. Well, such an honor to be here and among friends and music. And Jimmy just definitely has a very rich legacy that lives on. Not a day goes by, I don't cry. I never know when tears will flow. My love is gone, I know not why. Not a day goes by, I don't cry. I sing my songs, but something's wrong. eased my hand into wet sand. Part of me rushed out to sea, and in the wake your eyes still shine. Not a wave goes by, I don't cry. Do I wish I could change the ending? Take a walk with you back in time. Not a day goes by. Not a day goes by. Not a day goes by. The brightest star has left my sky. A million tears yet to cry. Not a day goes by. Not a day goes by. Not a day goes by.
Donna Lynn Caskey, everyone. Arturo, why don't you come up? This is Arturo Teo. He's the owner of the Palm Loft Gallery up in Carpinteria, and he hosted both the Tall Men group and then Jimmy and I from Different Mothers. You're going to be on that mic.
Okay.
Go over there.
Hello.
Yeah, and he's just a very gracious host and a good friend to songwriters everywhere. After this, we're going to hear from Brooks Taylor, and then I think Andrea Robinson has a Jimmy story, and then I saw Robert Morgan Fisher brought his guitar, and that'll probably take us through. Of course, if anybody else has anything, to offer in terms of a memory or song, that's fine too.
So this is an honor to be here. It's not going to be pretty, but it's going to be heartfelt. And it's a song that Jimmy wrote, at first for a specific person, I'm sure, but ultimately he wrote it for all of you. So take it in. Life can be hard. We all know pain, but I will stand guard through the wind and the rain. People break down, walk out and leave, but I'll stick around. You can count on me, and so it flows through my veins and down to my toes. Honest, I promise. If the going gets tough, you'll never be unloved. Emotions run hot and cold and bring tears, but I won't go to sleep at night unless you're lying right here, 'cause everyone's right till everything's wrong. I won't let us fight till the bullets are all gone, and so it flows through my veins and down honest, I promise. If the going gets tough, you'll never be unloved. Unloved. Until the day I get that call, until my last breath when my shadow falls. I give you my word, I give you my all. Yes, life can be hard. Each day as we face the unknown, each day a new start. One thing's written in stone. No, I won't let go on this magical ride. One thing you should know, forever we are tied, and so it flows through my veins down to my soul. Honest, swear I promise. If the going gets tough, you'll never be. Got my lifetime guarantee. You'll never be unloved. 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 Unloved.
Arturo Teo, everybody. Brooks, come on up. Andrea, you're after Brooks. And Robert Morgan Fisher, where are you? I see you there. So you're going to play a song? All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming out and staying. It was a hot day. When I scheduled this, I was like, oh, November 13th. That's like 6 weeks away. It'll be in the high 70s. But actually, it turned out to be a nice afternoon. It's really great to see some of you here. I know some of you came from so far away. Like Linda Bryan, she came from far away. And Connie and Mike Chisholm came from Arizona. Who else made a big, huge drive? Anybody? I came here from Brentwood. So, I don't know, it seemed like a big drive. I'm just not used to being around traffic anymore. I kind of lost my way in it. Anyway, I know Brooks Taylor through Jimmy, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
There you go. This is Brooks Taylor, everybody.
I don't know what this is in front of me. I'm used to acoustic pianos, but no. This is my childhood friend almost now, Ed Tree. We met in 1971, so this is a lifetime friendship here. So Jimmy always, the first time I met Jimmy, he reminded me of a sailor, a salty old sailor, probably had a lot to say. He certainly traveled through a lot of life's waters and wrote about them splendidly. So, anyway, so this is a song called Shiver Me Timbers that is dedicated to Jimmy. Well, I'm leaving my family home, but my heart's in the wind, where the clouds are like headlines upon a new front page sky. My tears are salt water, and the moon's full and high. And I know that Martin Eden is gonna be proud of me. There's many before me who've been called by the sea to be up in the crow's nest, singing my say. Shiver me timbers, 'cause I'm sailing away. Now the fog's lifting, the sand's shifting, I'm drifting on out. Oh, Captain Ahab, he ain't got nothing on me. So swallow me, don't follow me, I'm drifting on out. The water's my daughter, I'm gonna skip like a stone. Drifting on out. Oh, Captain Ahab, ain't got nothing on me. So follow me, don't swallow me, I'm drifting alone. Blue water's my daughter, I'm gonna skip like a stone. And I'm leaving my family, leaving all my friends. Body's at home, but my heart's in the wind, where the clouds are like headlines upon a new front page sky. Shiver me timbers, 'cause I'm sailing away. Shiver me timbers, 'cause I'm sailing. Lord, I'm sailing away. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ed. We rehearsed that 5 seconds ago.
I know that people are going to start drifting out of here pretty soon. We've got a couple of more people, but this would be a really sweet idea, and it came from the soulful mind of Ed Tree. Could I get everybody to stand up and give Jimmy a standing ovation, please? To Jimmy. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. We're going to bring up Andrea Robinson, who was Jimmy's neighbor in North Hollywood for a very long time ago, a lifetime ago. And says she has great Jimmy stories. You've heard so many Jimmy stories now that you're all capable judges. Here's Andrea Robinson.
Hi. Oh, everybody here. So connected with Jimmy, just such a beautiful guy. Okay, here we go. So when my ex-husband and I moved into North Hollywood, we were the new kids on the block. And we were surrounded by complete seniors. Everybody was seniors there. And we were the only ones, the only young ones. A few years later, some people bought the house next door to us. And we're watching and watching, and we look over and I say, oh my God, it's a young couple. I can't believe it. There's a young couple moving in next door to us. So we took a little welcoming gift over there. We took a bottle of wine over to them. Little did I know how perfect that was. We didn't know them, right? So not only were they wine connoisseurs, they were also, as you know, he was a gourmet cook. They were both gourmet cooks. And when Amy had remodeled the kitchen, they had 2 cooktops in the kitchen because they would both get at it. So that was the good and the bad of it, because the good of it, is that they had a lot of parties, and you know how generous they were. How generous Jimmy was, and then again with Leslie. And those parties were jam-packed full of musicians. It was always music-centered, but it was also gourmet food. So you knew when you go over there, you'd have a great time. And we did a lot with my ex-husband and I. We did a lot of double dating and going out and cooking for each other and everything. And the problem is that they cook something new every night. They never did repeats. So every time, if I had any windows open, I was right across the driveway. Anytime the windows would come in, this unbelievable gourmet fragrances would be wafting into my house, and it was just like, do you need for us to help you eat that? We had each other's keys to the houses for 25 years, and they would call and say, sometimes we would call each other and say, I think I left the burner on. I think I left the stove on. Can I go in there and I just need some extra butter. Can I go in? And we just had keys. It was the quintessential neighbor to have. They were absolutely fantastic. It was just like dorms almost. It was just fantastic. We pull in mail when we go on vacations. We completely take care of each other's houses and so forth. One story, a couple of stories, but one time, Jimmy heard some really aggressive dogs out in the front of our house. So he went out into the front and he went over on my lawn. There were somebody's dogs got out, and there were 2 very aggressive big dogs, and they had my cat in their mouths, and they were pulling my cat at 2 ends like this. He ran in and he got a board, and he went out there and he separated those dogs, and he actually saved my kitty's life. He actually saved Ricky's life. If he hadn't gone out, any earlier than that, my cat would have been gone. And another time when my one dog had started to get very old, and I had to leave her outside because she needed to go to the bathroom, and I had to go for a little bit. But it was getting to that point where he said that I heard her crying. I heard Marissa crying, so I went over there. He went through the house. He went in the back, and she couldn't get up the stairs, the 2 stairs to get into the kitchen, get back in the kitchen, and she was crying and crying and crying. So he went over and picked her up and took her into my house and said, she's okay, she's in the house now, everything is fine. So we did so many wonderful things. He was it was joyous having them as neighbors. And, with all the cooking, we had a cinder block wall in the backyard. And so when we would cook extra, we had 4 words for each other. That was it. Call up and he'd say, go to the wall. And I'd go, okay, I knew what it was, right? click, and I'd go out in the backyard, and there would be a plate on the wall. So lots of times when he'd be making new meals, I got new meals all the time, and I would do that too with them too, but I wasn't the cook that they were, that's for sure. So it kind of worked out really good, you know, for me. But when Amy fell ill with cancer, you know, I guess everybody knows they met in college, and you know, they were long time. It was soulmates. They were, you know, they grew up together. When she fell ill, Jimmy took care of her 24/7, night and day, and he was an unbelievable caregiver. You know, guys have a little bit, maybe sometimes a little bit more trouble, like kind of, you know, strategizing those things. Jimmy was so completely on top of it. It was unbelievable. And because they had so much food all the time, she'd get cravings for different things. So he'd say, she says, okay, I'm going out. Gotta go to the store again because Amy wants such and such. He'd go back and forth and just make her little things all the way up until the end. And he really fell into the abyss. He fell seriously, deeply into the abyss. It was really, really, really rough. And he kind of waited it through for a while. And then his friends, this was after some time passed, he gave some time. He was very methodical and he was really healthy about it. And he gave it some time, and his buddies made a profile for him and put him up on Match.com. Put him up on there, and he actually got flooded. He told me, I'm exhausted. There's so many people. I can't believe it. So through that time, he ended up meeting Leslie. And what he said was, she was really the only one, really, that actually was methodical and taking her time and not jumping in and so forth. And he said, you know, she was the only one. And what he wanted, he did not want vacuous, flip-flop situation. He wanted to have something with very substantial, real, and that's where he was with Leslie. That's how we ended up with Leslie. And I'm so thankful, you know, that happened and that they met. I'm so thankful. Well, you know, I just say that, you know, Leslie basically did rescue him. She did. He was getting healthier, but it was the perfect time, and she did it, you know, she was really perfect for him in that time, and I'm so happy for him because things really changed for him, and his business exploded and everything. Everything was really, really fantastic. So I just, you know, when I go on gigs, I'm a singer, and we had music coming over the wall, and we had food coming over the wall. But the times that I would see him after he moved, I did want to tell you another really great story about who he is. You won't be surprised, but it's pretty cool. When he was fixing the house up to sell the house, he had a landscaper come out for like a hard landscaping. And what he did was, because he was a postman for, I don't know how many years it was, but he was a mailman. And so what he did was he made steps that would go from my front door across my driveway and go into the front of his house and over to his front door so that they wouldn't have to walk around the sidewalk and walk up and down both the driveways. He wanted to make it right for the postman that would be following for the many, many years. Yeah, yes, it was beautiful. So, Jimmy, I love you, and I miss his bear hugs. You know, I'd see him, and it was always the bear hugs. And, you know, we all know, and I'm glad he had a beautiful life, because he did have a beautiful life, and look at how wonderful and loving everybody is here. It's such an extension of him, and he was an amazing friend, and best neighbor I ever had. So anyways, and I do have the neighbors too on the other side. Where are they? Oh, they moved. Okay. Oh, there they are. Okay. Yes, Steve and Jocelyn, and they're from the other side of his house. And, you know, this was a long journey, and we haven't, you know, he hasn't been in the neighborhood for 10 years. But we're here because there's so much love for him. And anyways, thank you very much for the time, Jeff. Thank you. Thank you.
Steve and Jocelyn, do you have a Jimmy story? Just kidding. Robert, help me. Where are you? There you go. You want to tell the Jimmy story? Hang on for just a sec. No. Song last. Here, come up.
Well, I just, yeah.
Okay, fine.
It's from my...
No, go ahead.
Hi guys, this is actually not for me, it's from my daughter, Allie. And she wanted to let everyone know how sad she was that she couldn't be here. She's bereaved. And but the first experience she had with, I guess she started going through the tall men things with Steve and I and fell in love with them. And Jeff actually approached her because he had a song that had a trombone solo, and Jimmy would always play the mouth trombone for the whole part. So Jeff wanted to surprise him and have a real trombone. So my daughter surprised him at a CD release party and played the trombone, and it was hilarious. But the other thing she wanted to say was that when she was at Summer Songs, well, all the tall men I think were there and were very sensitive and helpful and wonderful, and but she was sitting at a time when they were all supposed to be riding, and she was sitting on a cliff kind of over the ocean, and Jimmy came up to her and just really connected with her and helped her write and helped her with feelings, and I don't know, he's been incredibly sensitive and wonderful to her ever since. You know, any little post she'd make on Facebook, he would be encouraging and loving, and so that's all I want to say, just that he made a wonderful impression, was so helpful with all the, wonderful young people, and that's about it.
Yeah, I remember that night. After the show, Jimmy said, "Oh, Jeff, I see how you are." Everybody, this is Robert Morgan Fisher.
Good. Hey, everybody. Guitar? Okay. What's this? We know the battery's not dead. I want to thank you for being out here on the last official day of the mosquito season, and give generously. Jeff, thank you so much. And Leslie, for taking care of our hero. I have a lot of stories about Jimmy. There's far too many to tell here, but I'll tell you a couple, okay? We used to have a thing called Bunch of Damn Songwriters. And it ran for several years. Dave Morrison and John Andrew Parks and I would take over some bar or nightclub. Severn Brown, too. Well, a bunch of people here are BODs, as we called them, veterans. And this was a song that Jimmy first heard by John Andrew Parks, and he loved it. Brooke set me up perfectly for this, by the way. When you hear it, you'll get it. It was one of Jimmy's favorite songs. He always asked me to play that song, play the John Andrew Parks song, And he was... Once upon a memory, once upon a dream of majesty, once upon a ship of make-believe we sailed. The ocean was our big backyard. We closed our little eyes and wished real hard till the tall green grass turned bluer than the deep blue sea. I can still remember when Guided by the stars, we paved the wind. Didn't have a ship, but we could sure pretend to sail. The ocean was our big backyard. We closed our little eyes and wished real hard till the tall green grass turned bluer than the deep blue sea. Little Joe and me at the bow of make-believe, where the tall green grass turned bluer than the sea. Where the tall green grass turned bluer than the sea. Just raise the stakes in the song here. That was 30 years ago. Daddy got a job in Jackson Hole. I remember telling Joe goodbye. We swapped each other's sailor caps, and we swore one day we'd trade them back. And once again we'd sail the seven seas. Now lately I've been having thoughts of me and Joe and trade winds wrought with canvases and sun and salt and sea. But something always breaks the spell. A client bangs the counterbell, and I send my ship of dreams back out to sea. Little Joe and me at the bow of make-believe, where the tall green grass turned bluer than the sea. Where the tall green grass turned bluer than the sea. Then one day I made a vow, see what Joe was up to now. Packed my car and I headed down the road. And I recalled the part of town. His house was red and his barn was brown. And I knew for sure when I found that maple tree. His mama said, "Don't I know you?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am, I believe you do." I laughed and said, "I saved this hat for Joe." She reached up back behind a shelf and said, "Son, Joe died when he was 12. But I believe he left this box for you." Little Joe and me hat down on his grave, took out the one that Joe had saved for me, and a few grains from our ship of sand fell right out into my hand, and I poured them over Joe, and I called his name. Weigh the anchors, fly the bones, born a child of David Jones. destined for to roam the seven seas. And I knew that Joe had raised the mast when a sweet warm burst of wind blew past, and the tall green grass turned bluer than the sea. And the tall green grass turned bluer than the sea. Godspeed, Jimmy. Thank you.
All right, everybody. That's what we had for you today, to remember the life and times and music of Jimmy Yessian. And like I said earlier, when you think about him, don't feel sad. Just think about sometime he made you laugh, or think about his smile. There's an awful lot of food left over. I know that everybody was so busy and transfixed by the music. Please feel free to hang around and eat, have a drink, do something, have some water, hydrate. Thank you guys for coming.
If we had a crystal ball, tea leaves and tarot cards, and everything they told us came true, but we could see forever as if we'll be together till this lifetime is through. But there is no looking glass, no wizard to ask. Tomorrow's up to me and you. This is it, here we go, down this wide open road. Two of us, kicking up dust, living life here and now, making each moment count. That's the stuff dreams are made of. Let's have the time of our lives for the rest of our lives.